Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about something. It's about sales, but it's a little different. Now, I want to talk to those salespeople out there, you know who you are, that work for a large company or even a small, medium-sized company. It doesn't matter. You work for a company. And sometimes when we work for a company, we're always looking at the other side, right? Because the grass is always greener on the other side. And we start thinking to ourselves, maybe I should go work for another company because this one isn't working out. Now, I'm not trying to convince you to stay in your job, but I want you to analyze why you're thinking about the other side, because too often that grass is not as green as you think on the other side. Now, I was a victim of this many years ago. I was in a position where I was doing exceptionally well. I was selling and I was making bank. I was making money. And then some other company came and just, dangled right in front of me a lot more money. A better compensation plan, a better commission structure, and guess what? I went for it hook, line, and sinker. And to fast forward this story, within 3 months, I realized I had made the biggest mistake so far at that point in my career. I regretted taking that job because when they presented the job to me, it looked like it was better. It looked like the grass was greener. But once I got inside, once I started looking at the details, once I pulled back the curtain and saw it for what it wasn't anywhere near as good as the position I had. I wound up leaving the company after 6 months. I say this to you because sometimes maybe you're not seeing things for what they are. Maybe you are in a great position and you just don't know it. So how do you know? Well, let's assume that you have a great product or service that you're selling. Maybe you have a decent commission structure, but maybe you're saying to yourself, maybe I want to grow. Maybe I want to do more, within the company. Well, if that's the case, here's my question to you. Have you communicated that to your manager or boss? Have you communicated your desires? I start there. I want you to start there. Have you communicated your desires, your wishes to your boss? Maybe you don't want to just be a salesperson. Maybe one day you want to be a manager. Maybe one day you want to run a whole region. Maybe one day you want to be director of sales, VP of sales, whatever it may be. Have you communicated your desire to your boss? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Have you communicated? If you've not, then that's your fault. Second, if you communicate that, have you also had the discussion with your boss on maybe putting you on some type of track? In other words, for the first 6 months or the first year, let's focus on this. Second year, we're going to focus on this. And maybe by the, third year, you could be at this level. In other words, if you've talked to your boss about this, have you figured out a timeline? And I'm asking you to think about these things because, again, maybe, just maybe, where you're currently at is really the best situation around. Years ago, I remember the story Acres of Diamonds. Look up the story. It's called Acres of Diamonds. And I'll give you the short version of it, and I will not do it justice. But it's essentially about a farmer who wants to find diamonds. This is in Africa. He wants to go out looking for diamonds. So he sells his farm, goes out looking for diamonds. Bottom line, he goes broke looking for diamonds, and at the end, he's totally in despair. He throws himself off the cliff, kills himself. Meanwhile, the person that bought the farm that he sold went into his backyard, and they found all these diamonds in his backyard. In other words, the diamonds were always there. He didn't need to go off anywhere else to find his acres of diamonds. And sometimes when people say, well, I don't like my job, I always ask, why? Well, I don't know. I'm just, not feeling it. My boss is okay, but I don't feel like I'm growing. And I always ask the question, have you communicated this to your boss? Second, have you put together a master plan with your boss, a growth plan, a career path, so that you can grow? What tools and skill sets are you going to need to go to the next level? And again, sometimes it's right in front of us. So I am asking you to consider, if you're in a sales position today and you're not happy, the big question is, have you explored all the opportunities and possibilities within that position? Have you explored all the opportunities within that position? If you have not, then I suggest you have that conversation with your manager or your boss. And again, express your desires of where you want to go. Because I love selling, and I'm sure you do also. That's why you listen to this podcast. And we like to sell. So sometimes you have to sell a product or service. But here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to sell your boss on the idea to help you grow. I'm asking you to sell your boss, your manager, on the idea of helping you grow and get to that next level. Before you go off to another company, to another job, make sure you explore every opportunity in your current position before you move on. And that's it for the Sales Influence Podcast. I hope that was useful to some of you out there. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. Do you appreciate these career tips? If you do, great. Let me know. If you don't, let me know as well. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Mastery Academy. Over 26 courses, 300 plus videos, my 13 books. So if you're serious about taking it to the next level, go to salesmasteryacademy.us. That's salesmasteryacademy.us. We have a new pricing structure, and now anybody can afford to get on the platform. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.